Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Foreign Takes. I'm your host YT with Mr. KG and Mr. Big Lev here today. How you doing, boys?
Been better. Been better.
Fair enough. Solar eclipse affecting you guys today?
Uh, yes, of course, I lost the sight of the title with the solar eclipse.
That solar eclipse caused this all.
Yeah.
We might as well jump right into it. The game of the weekend was obviously Liverpool v United. It was at Old Trafford and it was a 2-2. KG, you and I were chatting and Big Lev was absolutely losing it. Was this a fair result for both teams?
No. No, of course not. What do you mean fair
Yes.
result? I mean, depends what you call fair. Like, United played 10 minutes of that entire game. Look at them, yeah. Bro, this is what's
Salty.
most annoying about United
Salty.
fans.
You
They've
could
been
beat us the whole
bitching-
season. Couldn't
You've
beat
been
us the whole season.
You've been bitching and moaning all season, and every time we played you, you were like, "No, we're gonna lose 7-0. I'm not even gonna play it, watch it." And then, like this happens, and then they're like, "Oh, couldn't beat us all season. Look at us, 10 magic." Like, fuck off. That was wholly undeserved. You were gifted the first goal. The second goal was a amazing goal, but the
You
free.
gave the ball away. How is this undeserved? You made a mistake.
Yeah, you gave
Number
the ball
one
away as a
problem-
gift. That's what it means to
Number-
gift one away.
You know what makes acceptance first stage is to look within yourself and realize all the mistakes that you have done.
I'm not saying Liverpool didn't fuck it up completely, but it wasn't any of United's doing.
That's true.
Here's the thing.
But we should agree
Liverpool
that
threw it away.
the game should have been over in the first 30 minutes. Can we all agree on that? Like, Liverpool
Yeah.
should have buried this game.
That is every United game, though. Every United game that they start within 30 minutes, the other team should have buried them. It was against Brentford versus Chelsea versus Liverpool. I've said it before. That's the setup Ten Hag is choosing to use. It's get as much shots as you can, and then we'll counterattack, or the game will open up. And the United's front is deadly. Whatever you want to say about the defense and the midfield, the front four with Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford, and Højlund are much deadlier and pose a bigger threat than the defense. So you need to be aware of that. And I don't know if it's by design or it's just the mismatch in coaching styles when you're going forward and defending, but you need to be aware of it. Liverpool and weren't aware of it. They thought it would be easy to throw it away. And
this is not a setup approach, okay? Like, this is just Liverpool being extremely wasteful. You cannot set up your team to be 2-0, 3-0 down every 30 minutes into it. That's just a shitty coaching. It's just Liverpool
something
have
that
been
I agree
very
with.
poor against United this season, and against big teams in general, they've been extremely wasteful.
Can we talk? So I think Salah, we have to talk about Salah, right? Like, this is not the real Salah. This feels like post-AFCON Salah seems like a shadow of himself in many ways. Is that fair to say, Big Lev?
Yeah, bro, he came back injured. I don't think he's fully recovered and he's out of rhythm. And now you have this guy you can't really sit because it's Salah, but who's also not really being very efficient or good. And honestly, like, the entire front line is super inefficient. I've been touting Darwizi 2024 all season, but my patience is like really thin. Because what's this done really badly, and what the entire front three has done badly, and what I think is Klopp's fault, is they are not passing to each other, man. Like, multiple times yesterday, either Connor Bradley or Darwin would not pass the ball across the 6-yard line.
Where you would expect Darwin to be able to attack those balls, right? He's faster, he's stronger, he's taller.
He would be with the ball on a tight angle and he wouldn't pass square it to Zoboslai. And that happened multiple times. It's annoying.
I guess then, can we talk then, just continuing on Liverpool? As far as the mistake from Kwanzaa is concerned, it's just a mistake, right? Like, it happens, he's a kid, it's his first time, it'll happen. You just accept it, right? There's nothing structurally. It's just one of those things it's an error by one of your, essentially, a child center back. There's no blame as far as Kwanzaa is concerned, right? Like, this is not his fault. I think it's something that should be agreed upon by everybody.
I mean, yeah, it's a stupid mistake, but it's like, there's nothing, like, he's done pretty well.
Quality
Interesting.
finish by Fernandez, though.
Yeah,
Quality.
that is a quality. Can we talk about the goalie Kelleher though? Had Kelleher obviously Kelleher did not know where he was on the pitch, right, Big
Yeah.
Lev? Because he tried to save it, and had he handballed that, that would have been a worse. Would that have been better or worse? I personally think it would have been worse, right? Because if he had actually saved Bruno's shot, it would have been a red card, and then you'd have to play 10 man for.
I think that
So
would have been better. Had we gone down to 10 men and maybe just like pulled back a little bit, we could have done better than this. First of all,
This is
I don't think he was in. I think by the time that he went for it,
it's an
he was
empty
back
net.
already.
It's a red card
no,
regardless.
no, yeah,
And
he
No,
was
no, no.
this
But
outside.
is
I think he was back in the
No,
box.
no,
no, no.
I saw the replay. He was about 3 meters outside the box.
Okay,
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
This is
Oh
just
yeah, it would have been a red card for sure. But
yeah.
I don't know.
this is just a mentality of the Liverpool fans. Like you couldn't beat United this whole season, but with 10 men, you magically would if it was 1-0 and they wouldn't come back.
You never
That's
know with this Liverpool. This
Why not?
Liverpool
If we
team,
went
you never know.
like if we went to defense, you think United has like United wouldn't be playing better if they had the initiative.
United played better against Liverpool when they had the decision in the FA Cup. They came back, and
No, but we
if you
weren't
set
like
back
10
United,
people. That's different. Okay, he
That-
came back with
Liverpool
like three
never sit
goals.
back.
Come on, man! Like this,
Liverpool never a
Jesus.
free goal. You're calling Mino's goal a free goal. It was a beauty. It wasn't a free goal. Like
In the
calling
FA
Mino's goal a
Cup.
free goal. No, in the FA Cup, when was a free goal? Anthony scoring with his right foot, turning and sending Van Dijk
Yeah,
off to
first
sailing.
goal he
That's a free
scored in
goal.
2 years. That's a free
yeah,
goal, bro.
it was pretty surprising.
Okay.
I mean,
Misunderstanding of what a free goal is, in my opinion. A free goal is what I don't
I mean,
remember.
the
It
last goal, the
doesn't come
fourth
to
goal was a
mind.
free goal.
How
It was
was it a free goal?
It was a stupid fuck up between two people.
It's not. I
It's
think you
your
have a
corner.
misunderstanding what a free goal is. Free
Bro,
goal
I
is
mean,
when
like, you have a
ball
misunderstanding what a
slides
free goal is. A free goal you would not expect. It did
you
not
know,
come as a
Then that's
result of
any goal
United's.
if you don't expect.
No, but it
What is-
wasn't your. You didn't play well. You didn't have a,
Oh my
build
god,
up.
the delusion of of Liverpool fans. Arsenal fans
Okay,
at least
we are delusion.
accepted
You
that.
were okay, man. You're doing great. Keep going like
we're
that.
not. We're
I
not.
hope Ten
We're not
Hag
saying we're
stays
doing
another
great.
year.
hold
But the
on though.
No,
goal. Yeah.
sometimes I feel bad about United, and then like every time there's a slight glimmer of hope for them, and their fans are the most annoying pieces of shit I ever see.
You know what's funny? I feel like every fan base says this to each other's fan base. It's like, I felt bad for you, and then I heard your fan speaking, and I don't feel bad for you anymore. Wait,
Yeah.
just going back to the game, I think just talking about United for a second. This at this stage, KG, we have to admit there's something fundamentally wrong with this club, right? With the manager and the way he sets up. I think there's not a single this one game. I think was symptomatic of the entire season, right? It's like they do nothing, they come out with no motivation. If something lets them back in the game, and suddenly they look like they're able to score. Why do they do that? Why don't they do that? Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement, and I think it looks like it's two teams. It looks like it's an attacking team that is doing well, and they can score goals. Like the front four can score goals, and that's why I am opposing Big Lev here, saying that it's free goals. It wasn't free goals. They're actually playing well. If it was free goals, United would never score a single goal this whole season. They would be just bad. The United have goals in them, and they can punish you if you make a mistake, or they can create the three passes and run away and counter attack, which were the goals that Liverpool conceded against United. In terms of playing at the back and the way they're set up at the back in the midfield, that's where the problems come in. It's completely two different separate parts of your body that don't communicate well together, and that's what the problem is, and it's part of the setup. It's your back line and your front line is not communicating, meaning that there's no midfield in it, and Mino
Which was
alone can't do it.
Yeah, in this game, it was interesting tactically because it was Casemiro sitting deeper, the deepest, and Mino seemed to almost be playing a left eight with Bruno all the way just like floating wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Which just seemed like different from the usual double pivot where he wants the two players. So it seemed interesting because I almost feel like I know Mino scored an amazing goal, but there were moments for the first 50, 60 minutes, it seemed like his passing was off, his timing was off. It seems like the pace and everything's beginning to catch up to him. Is that fair?
It's a fair thing to say, because I mean he's 18 and it's his 16th Premier League where he starts, which probably nobody would expect that to be the case. So obviously in a big game and he played against Chelsea most of the game, so in midweek, and for an 18-year-old lad that's a bit too much. So he seemed a bit tired. What the obvious thing out of the whole game is that Casemiro can't play as a defensive midfielder anymore, and whether they buy an 8 who plays the way they want to play in the future, whether it's going to be under Ten Hag or not under Ten Hag, that is a must just period. Because Ericsson can't play there anymore. Mino can play a CDM, but someone else will have to play an 8 or a box to box. That has to be done. I still don't understand why Mount was bought. He didn't come on, didn't do anything in this game. And he comes on, comes on as a winger. Really, the midfield area still hasn't been solved. The problem with United is that last year it seemed like it was solved with the or 2 years before when you got Casemiro. You thought like, oh, finally United has a midfield, working midfield with Casemiro, Eriksen, Fred, and Bruno. Now that's all. That was a short-term solution, and it's always the problem with the ownership of the club that they're looking for short-term solutions. Like that 60 million spent on Casemiro could have been spent on, I don't know, 5 million on Kaiser when he was available before he became a 100 million player. You know,
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like
and
at least now United's like, I don't want to say like failings, but at least the gaps are very clearly identified, right? It's like everyone knows that defensive midfielder spot and the left back spot are like the number one priorities within the squad. Because attacking
yeah,
wise, you guys are relatively okay.
yeah, I am certain that Luke Shaw's time is done at United. I don't think he'll be a starter because he has too many injuries. Dalot cannot play at left back. There's a lot of areas that they have to work on and focus on. Whether it's going to be under Ten Hag or no, that's the question.
Yeah,
And that's
I think
remained to be
everyone's
seen.
waiting for that to be answered at the end of the season, depending on where they answer. As far as just going back to the title race, this would be considered 2 points lost for Liverpool, right? In the title race, like
Yep.
they should have had this. This is definitively was not in the plan, especially considering how the game started. I think this was the Man City and Arsenal were cheering for this result in many ways.
I think ahead of the game, bro. This is the thing. You shouldn't plan on getting 3 points at Old Trafford, because even like 10 years ago when Liverpool was shit, no one from like it wasn't United lost many games at Anfield when we were like tenth and having Lucas Leiva as a captain and Joe Cole running around. So I don't understand this like obsession on we should be like taking. I think it's a loss that we didn't beat United once this year. We should have won at least at Anfield or here, but it's more frustrating just because how the game progressed, and they could have been 4-0 up by like 45th minute, but they
Yeah,
weren't. And this is like it's frustrating because this happened in every other game. It was the same with Sheffield United, man. The fact that McAllister scored an amazing goal doesn't excuse the fact that they fucked away chance upon chance, and then Sheffield United scored a freak goal out of nowhere. So this season of Liverpool coming back from being down by like already like 13th time. It's a cool story, but it's not a good story. It's a story of a team that can't fucking get it done within the first 60 minutes.
yeah,
It's another thing that I was saying at the beginning of the season. I mean, nobody expected Liverpool to be this close to the title race because of the new midfield and because of the new players that they brought in. And it really seemed like a two-summer window kind of a job that they had to do to replace their players. The only thing that nobody expected probably at the beginning of the season when they didn't expect Liverpool to compete was because everyone thought the club was going to be here the next season, like
I
in
expected
the
Liverpool
Premier
to
League.
compete. I don't know. You guys were non-believers.
Personally, nobody at the beginning of the season, everyone goes, "Oh, my team is going to compete." That's a natural thing that you do. That's why you watch football. But in reality, if you look at things objectively, you would say that. But nobody knew the club was not going to be here.
yeah,
And this season is pretty much we're doing it for Klopp. That's why they're running. That's why they're going all the way in. Just because Klopp is not going to be here next season, and they want to have a perfect send off with treble, a quadruple, or whatnot. And the team is undercooked. It is undercooked, and that's why it is in the state that it's in. Because Klopp doesn't want to create a new. Not doesn't want to, but he doesn't have the time or the emotional passion, as he said, to create a new one,
yeah.
and he just wants to do it with a makeshift team with the spirit
Which makes it
going
more
forward.
impressive in many ways that he's been able
Yeah,
to rehaul this entire midfield. I think
and that's
just
why he's a bit salty at the end of the game as well because he was very like, oh, I hope you play against Arsenal like this, blah 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 blah, putting pressure on United to perform against Arsenal, which is way back down the line.
mind
If it
games.
was, if it's mind games, but it's very emotional mind games, and it's like his last season. Like if it was Klopp 10 seasons, like 3 seasons back when they were competing, he would be more talking about their focusing on his own team and not focusing outwardly. But he knows that now he needs to focus on the outwardly aspects because inwardly he knows this is their last. They're on the last gallon of gas here.
Yeah, that's true. I think just quickly touching on like the rest of the title race. So City beat Palace away from home 4-2. It was KDB came, he saw, he conquered, he was bored with his hair, and he left. Just boring, right? At this stage, this is the city has begun to do the grind in many ways. And then on the other side, Arsenal had a fantastic win away from home against Brighton. Honestly, it felt like one of the most confident games. But the title race as it stands is essentially Arsenal with on top with goal difference with 71 points, Liverpool also with 71 points, and then City 1 point behind. This is the dream of every Premier League fan, right? If you had asked everyone at the beginning of the season that the top race, the number is 1 point difference with 5 games to go, everyone
Yeah,
would have loved this.
Yep.
And then
yeah.
if
I
you look
mean,
at the title race for, sorry, the Champions League spots, you have Tottenham at 60 points, Villa for 60 points, and then there's a little bit of a gap for the next spot with United, West Ham. This is this is exactly what everyone desired for a Premier League race.
Can we
so
end the top four debate? Like it's between Tottenham and Aston Villa to decide who's the top four, who's the top five. United is not competing for the fourth and fifth spot. It
Fair
is
enough.
virtually impossible. They threw it away, and if that's the criteria that makes the decision of Ten Hag staying or he's out because they're not
He's
making the
out.
top four. Yeah.
does England get fifth spot for sure this year, or if
Depending on
Liverpool
how
wins
Arsenal
Europa
and
League?
City do. If Liverpool wins Europa League, if Aston Villa get to the final, if City and Arsenal go far, and I guess essentially as far as many English teams go,
Yeah.
the fifth spot would be guaranteed, and it's essentially there. And I think Tottenham is gonna definitely snatch that spot.
Yeah, that's true. I think the one other team we should just quickly touch on is Chelsea. Despite the fantastic comeback win last week, they then completely screwed it up. Despite Palmer trying to save them again, and they drew to Sheffield. Can we talk about Pochettino? Like, it almost feels like in the same way that Ten Hag should be getting a lot of blame. It feels like Poch is not getting the blame that he deserves to be getting because his team setup every week is just so like no one can understand what he's doing, and it's showing because they're ninth. They're basically mid-table, like pure mediocrity. Should Poch be looking for a new job at the summer, or would that be even more turbulent for Chelsea?
I
Oh
don't
no,
think that,
he's out for sure.
I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think they're gonna touch anything with the FFP issues. They just can't afford to get rid of him.
Oh, it's just going to be an Allegri situation where they want to get rid of him,
Yeah,
but because of money, they
I
can't.
mean, speaking of Allegri, just a little bit divergent. There's rumors that Thiago Motta is gonna go to Juventus from
That's a
Bologna.
fantastic signing. If you're
Yeah,
Yeah,
Juventus and you can afford it, Thiago Motta is. I mean, he's showing what he could do with Bologna right now. Right? He's like tactically incredible. Also, Juventus is just one of the most boring teams to watch under Allegri. So I feel like
I mean,
Juventus needs to clean up their.
they they were unfairly in the title race from to begin with, and we called it that they're gonna slowly die off, and they are doing so. But going back to the Poch situation, I think they just can't afford to get rid of him. He he is very similar in his approach now. Became very similar to the vein of Klopp's at Liverpool. It's just we can't do anything. Let's play for the enjoyment of it. That's where the United win came. I mean, obviously, Cole Palmer is a Man City Academy graduate. He would like to see United die off essentially. So he did what he to get the win. In terms of the setup and what Poch is doing, I don't think they can afford to get rid of him.
Interesting. Yeah, I would agree with that. Just quickly, can we touch on the Everton points deduction? So today, the latest this season's point deduction came out. It was supposed to be a 5 point deduction, and they reduced it by 3 points for three different reasons. One was for like collaboration, and a bunch of other reasons. This is a bunch of nonsense from the Premier League, right? Like they're just setting it up so that City gets essentially a slap on the wrist. It feels like because
yeah,
2 points. What the hell was the point of giving them a 2 point deduction after all this time for
yeah.
Everton?
Making it so complicated that you can't even complain or give like precedence. So yeah, I have at this point no hope that City will get any like actual punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But what about for Everton?
At best, a two window transfer ban, and
You think
then
that even that seems too much?
that's what I'm saying at best, and it's gonna be a two window transfer ban that's gonna start in a year, so they'll buy like a billion players ahead of the time.
they already put a news article there that suggests that they're going to change the way they do points deduction. Maybe they're going to introduce a luxury tax or something like that instead of doing the point deductions because it's very
Yeah,
difficult. So that for me is a precedent of being like, oh, look how difficult it is to do point deductions. We did it and we reviewed it, we added, we subtracted. Why don't we just do from not starting from next season? If there's any FFP breaches, we'll just make them pay more And
Yep.
oh, by the way, City has this much breaches. How about you pay us $1 billion so we shut up? And of course they will. So City, it's everything is done for City to be scot free. I would be surprised if they get, as Big Love said, 2 summer bans, or if they get like 10 points deduction. I'll be surprised, surprised.
It just
But
feels so
you
unfair.
know what's gonna happen if that's how they're gonna have the FFP rules applied? Newcastle will start spending like City of 2008, 2010
Yeah.
again, or like yeah, and then Chelsea will start spending again. I don't know what United, Liverpool, and Arsenal will do. I think they're just very focused on to being sustainable.
Yeah,
But we're gonna have more teams spend wild money and just pay the fine.
yeah, because it's stupid. It's essentially going like anything that you do, every law you break, you can pay off, and then the rich will just do it because it's essentially for them. This is a fee that you pay for your inconvenience, essentially for
Yeah.
your personal inconvenience, which is a stupid thing to do. I hope they don't do it. I hope they punish City accordingly, and they should have just waited till the end of the season, or at least till the last 2 weeks of the season, to make their final verdict of both Everton and Nottingham Forest. What is this? The point of going back and forth in the middle of the season just to shift them around and make them unfocused? Luton has a chance to stay up. I hope they do if they're doing everything by the book. But do you think it's fair for a team, for example, that did everything by the book like Luton, and for a team, for example, like Forest? Because there was a debate on the overlap on the Gary Neville's podcast when they asked the Forest fan, "Is like, do you think it's fair that you did that?" And he was like, "Oh, we didn't have any other option. That's the only way we could have stayed up by breaking the rules last season." Do you think it's fair for being like, okay, we're going to stay up, we're going to spend a bunch of money, and then we'll answer for the consequences later?
I mean, it is fair, right? Because it's not like they're saying, "Hey, we're going to break the rules." They're saying, "We know what the punishment will be, and we're going to do it anyway." So if that means that that punishment is not enough, and that's on the Premier League to
Yeah.
change it, right? It's like the Forest don't control the rules. Forest just play within the system. So if they can rig the system, that means the system needs to be fixed. So as far as Forest is concerned, honestly, I have no problems with it.
You're not gonna help with. So one of the big things for FFP is making sure to make clubs sustainable. So there's not, what happened to Leeds in 2000s and stuff, like clubs don't overstretch themselves and then have to go into bankruptcy. This will not help with that. The clubs will be like, yeah, let me pay extra, and then if we don't stay up, we don't stay up. We'll deal with that later. Consequences, like that Key and
Yeah,
Peele sketch.
yeah.
So it's just gonna bring that back into the fold of like clubs potentially going into administration because
Yeah.
they overstretch themselves.
Yeah, but the rules, I have a feeling this summer there's going to be a lot of rule changes amongst like financial rule changes, game rule changes. I feel like this is going to be a big summer for rule changes because we see it's not working, right? We see that VAR is not working. We see that how many extra minutes have we been playing? We've been playing 10, 12, 15, 18 minutes. The VAR, the financial rules. I feel like there's going to be a lot of upheaval this summer.
Hopefully, I mean, as long as the system is not rigged anymore, it doesn't seem like it seems like it's going to be changed for the betterment of the top teams, which is not fair. I think
Yeah.
City should get punished. They should, like, I think if I was a governing body, what I would do is I would bite the bullet. I would make a big punishment if I really want the system to work and it to be fair and all that. If they were interested in that, which I don't think FIFA, UEFA, the Premier League, the FA are interested in it, because if they were, what anyone does when, like in all the movies and all that, when a new DA comes in or the new judge comes in, he makes sure that the new law is upheld by making a powerful example, taking on the biggest dog. When you go to jail, you take on the biggest dog to show that nobody can fuck with you. That's the logic that you should take. But I don't see the FA or the UEFA or FIFA doing that. On the other hand, they're doing the opposite. The Big Six tried to run away with the league, and what they did is they changed the Champions League to be like the Super League, just gave them a little bit more money, so they caved to the bullies. And I don't think anything is going to change with the footballing world. Honestly, I
Yeah.
just don't.
It just seems so negative, the outlook, right? Like just the ability to break into the top six. All of the things just seem skewed for money, which is a sad thing.
Yeah,
It makes sense why the fans are protesting. So just for the next segment, we've all taken one of the three top teams. So Big Lev has taken his favorite team, Arsenal, aka not Liverpool. I have taken those discussing team Liverpool, and KG has taken City. And we've just said taken the number of games that they have left, what we objectively think will win, and we're going to do our total tallies. So basically, it's just going to be the game, the number of points will do the total. So I think I'll start. So Liverpool's games remaining: Palace at home, 3 points, they'll pick up. Fulham away, 3 points. Everton away, 3 points. West Ham away, 3 points. So that's 4 wins in a row. I think they're going to have a tough time because they're playing Spurs. So I think they're going to draw against Spurs. Then they're going to go Villa away. I said they're going to lose Villa away. Wolves at home, they're going to pick up 3. So that's a total of 16 points from their remaining 7 games. And that's going to get them to 87. KG, you want to tell us for City?
Yes, I want to tell us for City. Starting off with City versus Luton, I said they're going to win. They're going to get the 3 points. Brighton versus City, although they're playing away, I still think Brighton's not good enough, so I think City will get the 3 points. I think the Nottingham City game, they're going to actually drop points because Nottingham City will need some points. This is a draw for City, and I think it's going to pretty much depend on if they're going to go through to the Champions League, but that's where I see them drawing. Then City are playing Wolves at home. I think it's going to be a 3 points for City. I think there's going to game against Fulham that I think they're going to win. It's going to be another win for City. And again, West Ham is going to be a win. They're also playing against Tottenham. I believe it got rescheduled. So I'm adding that game to the mix. And I believe they're going to draw with Tottenham. It's going to be another point because I think those are the 2 games where City can realistically drop points. It's potentially Nottingham away and City and Tottenham at home. So the total is they're going to have 17 points, and they're going to end up with a total of 87 points at the end.
Interesting.
Right.
Wow. Surprise, surprise. Tied on points. Okay, Big Lev, what's
Right.
Arsenal doing?
So they're playing Aston Villa next, right? Between the sandwiched between 2 games against Munich. So I think they're gonna draw there. Then they're playing Wolves and Chelsea. 2 wins, 6 points picked up before they play the arch nemesis Tottenham, who I think can surprise us and get a draw. Then it's a trip. I think it's whole game versus Bournemouth. Easy 3 points. United at Old Trafford. I don't know. I'm inclined to give you a W there, but maybe United will surprise us and get a draw, and Everton W. So that's 86 points.
Oh,
86
wow.
points.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
a final tally of 87 Liverpool, 87 City, 86 Arsenal.
Yeah, so it's going to go down to the goal differences, I see.
Yeah.
You know, the truth is, I think we all agree that Arsenal had by far the hardest run in. I think everyone knows this. The stupid Opta supercomputer, everyone knows this. This is crazy. This is the best title race in forever, right? 87, 87, 86. And
Yeah.
that's what that's fantastic way. Very sad for Arsenal, honestly. But
I mean, yeah, I
Also, the
think.
thing is, and people don't like this part, but hear me out. Arsenal have been on what's their winning streak now? On a huge win streak.
yeah,
So
unbeaten since we came back from the winter holiday,
yeah, so at
essentially.
some point it's a low averages, right? Sometimes they're gonna drop points. That's what happened. So probably it's gonna be all of the remaining teams will probably drop points. I think Liverpool cannot afford to drop. Maximum they can afford is one draw because that's how tight the next 7 games gonna be.
Whitey, who did you have Liverpool dropping points to?
So I had them dropping points against Spurs and Villa because I
Bro,
just
he
think
had us
it's like,
losing to Villa. Like, come on.
you know, and I'll explain my reasoning is because Villa at home are very very good. Villa away not as good. Villa at home, and I think it'll be at that crunch time where it still won't be determined if the fifth spot will be Champions League or not. So I think they will be going full speed against Spurs. So the fact that they play against Spurs and then Villa back to back with regards to Liverpool, I think there will be points dropped in that. I think we
Weren't
all agree,
weren't
right? This is
weren't Villa playing at home and they got creamed by KDB and company?
that is true, but that was the crazy highline game where I think Emery has learned a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit from it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's going to be interesting end to the season. I
Yeah,
think if it's going to be the way we predicted it and it's going to be 87, 87, 86, goal differences are going to play a huge scores are conceded.
Huge.
So huge is
yeah,
going to be huge.
Bro, if it's
But
gonna
amazing.
be you're gonna see a real bitching and moaning by Liverpool fans because the Tottenham game all of a sudden apparently really mattered because that's
no,
potentially 1 or 3 points that was taken from us that could have decided everything. So
I also think that both Arsenal and City are not going to go through their Champions League ties. So one of them is going to have a 3-year schedule. So you may
Yeah,
see if it's Arsenal going, if it's Arsenal going out of to Bayern Munich, they may have like that tough schedule. Doesn't seem as tough because they have one game a week now, which they can easily focus towards.
Yeah. And that's what
Yeah,
a lot of Arsenal fans are saying in many ways. Like, as we would love to beat Munich, I think no one will say no. But the downside is, do you go far in both tournaments and then lose both, or do you lose one and maximize your chances for the other?
yeah, and I don't think City's gonna. If they go through Real Madrid, it's gonna be tough for them. But they have the easiest run in out of all.
Yeah.
Literally, only Tottenham and Nottingham Forest. And I was gracious to get Nottingham Forest a draw, because I think Nottingham Forest is gonna be competing to survive and all that. But if they're gonna have Champions League football in midweek, that's a draw. But if they don't,
Yes.
I mean, City are walking towards the Premier League. Then. It's just
Exactly.
add
I
those
think they
two
just
points.
have the advantage, the
Yeah.
exit. I think just to wrap up, I want to do a quick foreign take. So this is actually relevant to all of us. So I asked you guys in the chat, but I'm saving it for today. This season, the way things have gone, would a combined top 11 from Manchester United and Chelsea have been able to compete against Liverpool, City, and Arsenal?
No.
No, no,
Eh,
Wow,
they would
interesting.
be.
no,
They
they
would be
they're
able to compete
So
they
can
don't.
we
for the
can we
top
just
four.
do a quick exercise? So let's just do 4-4-3-3, and we're just gonna do this relatively
Yeah.
quickly. So keeper, who are we gonna pick?
Onana,
Or
obviously,
probably
because
Onana, but it's like
yeah,
it's
it
Weak,
like
already
right?
shows.
bro,
Yeah.
it's like 2024 U.S. elections, so two terrible candidates.
Okay, right back. I think realistically Malo Gusto.
Well,
Gusto,
Rhys
yes.
James, but he's gonna be injured all the time.
Yeah,
So
exactly. We
Yeah.
just assume he's not playing. We're
yeah.
basically seeing the team that has played
Well, then
for the
I'll take
past
Wan
year.
Bissaka. I'll take Wan Bissaka over
Oh,
Malo
interesting.
Gusto. Bro, Malo
Okay.
Gusto is getting red cards left and right the entire time.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
going
he was
forward, he's quite
adjusting.
good.
That's the thing.
Also,
It depends on how you're gonna. Now we're going into this tactical coaching analysis.
yeah.
If we're going both wings forward or
No,
one,
no, Malo
one
Gusto
No,
is
is
no,
Malo
no.
Gusto, and what kind of name is
Fine,
Malo
fine.
Gusto?
Wan Bissaka. Okay, then the two
yeah, Wan
center
Bissaka
backs.
gives away penalties left, right, and center.
All right, the two center backs.
Lisandro Martinez and Thiago Silva,
Yeah,
or
Yeah,
that's
Lisandro Martinez.
they're not gonna exist. Like,
Uh,
yeah.
they're not gonna play.
but again, sorry, if we're doing this like they played the whole season, then Lisandro
Okay,
Martinez
yeah, then
obviously.
Sandro
Yeah.
Martinez, yeah, still
Lisandro
for sure.
Martinez is obviously the best midfielder out of the both
Or,
teams.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
center back. Okay, left back.
left back again, again
Weak.
weak. Chilwell is injured all the time. Shaw's injured. It's just a bunch of injured players. But
Yeah.
let's go back to the center back position. Who would you get out of the? Because
Why not
they didn't
Varane?
have those. Varane was also injured half of the season.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll go
yeah,
with
so
Varane.
that's why we won't compete.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that's
uh,
Varane.
just
Varane and who else? I mean, that
I don't
Licha.
Desastre.
know.
Martinez. It
Tony,
has to be Varane and Martinez, I think.
Okay.
Tony
Licha.
Evans.
Yeah, Johnny.
He probably not that bad, honestly.
Johnny Evans would be on the bench because he's a good man.
Yeah, that's true.
he's a man
Left
of God for
there's
doing
a
all
matter
this
God.
work.
Left back is a weak spot, right? It's like kind of to pick your poison. Essentially, is left
Yeah, I
back.
mean Chilwell if he's fit, probably.
Shaw,
Yeah.
if his fit is better than
Yeah.
Chilwell, I think.
Either
Okay,
one of them, really,
whoever.
equal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Shit,
so
either
then the
way.
midfield trio. So I think we should just do like one defensive midfielder and two regular midfielders. So I think we can say one of the eights is going to be Bruno Fernandes. I think we can all
Yep.
agree, right? So like that's fair.
No,
Yeah.
because you have Mainu playing for sure, right? And then you have Cole Palmer playing for
Cole
sure.
Palmer's
No,
a
but Cole
right wing.
Palmer is going to be right wing. So I'm talking the
Yeah.
midfield trio.
No, why put Cole Palmer in right wing when
Because
he's a
he
great
plays on the right
midfielder?
wing.
Oh, that okay. You know what? That's actually a
Yeah,
valid
but that's
question.
why. Like he plays on the right wing because Chelsea is in disarray.
You
But if you
can't
put
bench Bruno Fernandes. You just can't. He's been dragging
yeah,
this United to
bro,
the big
you were the
creative.
one who's saying Bruno is so shit. Suddenly he scores one
In
goal and
that
he's the best.
game, he was shit. But in general, over the season, he has been
I'm
the only player who's done
Okay,
any creativity.
wait,
You
wait.
take
no.
away him.
Wait,
You know
so
what? Well, I have a better
what do we
solution.
have? You're
So,
not playing Caicedo. You're not
no.
playing Enzo. You should
Yeah,
probably
this is
play
getting
Enzo.
tough. You
You're
should
getting Enzo. You're playing Enzo, Mino, and Fernandez. You're playing Cole Palmer on the right because having Cole Palmer and Fernandez gives you more chance of scoring a goal than having Cole Palmer alone. And who's going to be on your
Yeah,
right
but if
wing?
you're having Enzo
Anthony.
with Bruno Fernandes, mine is gonna get overrun.
that is true. We need a more solid. Which this is exactly the point, right? I guess we're answering the question already. Is like this combined 11 have no chance of competing against the top three.
Yes, they don't.
Okay, just we'll skip the midfield for just a quick sec. Striker, I think there's only one choice. It has to be Højlund, right?
Yeah, it's
Oh
Højlund.
yeah.
Okay, so then the real
Not-
question is, what about left winger?
And it's
Uh,
Garnacho.
Garnacho.
Not
Obvious.
Rashford, right?
Not
No,
Rashford. No.
left finger. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Garnacho, and
then
then
Yeah,
on the
left
right, who
winger.
are you gonna put if it's not Cole Palmer? Who are you gonna put on right? Is there anyone on Chelsea? Is it?
Modric.
you can put
Mm.
Sterling,
Oh God,
Rick,
that's terrible. So I
Or
guess
Lusnik.
Anthony? You can put Anthony. Is that
No,
be
bro,
the?
come on.
I
Jesus
am
Christ.
saying that that's why Cole Palmer on the right wing is better. Bruno Fernandes is an eight, and then the Mino and or someone else if you want to put in midfield. The obvious problem is that there's no defense and there's no central
It's a shit
midfielder
team.
in a
yeah,
combined
it's a
11.
shit team. I think
It's a
that
shit
the
team.
answer is it's a shit team. So I'm curious
They,
because I was genuinely thinking about it. The fact that two of the most expensive teams combined, you couldn't get a team like an outcome that would compete with the top three.
the answer is you got Manchester United all over again. The attack is solid, and everything that from the middle down is shit.
Yeah, at least
Yeah,
we'd have Cole Palmer. I think
yeah.
that's probably a good spot to wrap up for the week, for the day. We're gonna be back again on our regular Sundays to discuss the next game week.
Just before we wrap up, come on, as an Arsenal fan, what do you think about Bayern Munich? What's your
Oh,
expectation?
okay. I'll be very brief. Kane is gonna score some ridiculous goal, and then we're gonna cream them the rest of the game.
Oh,
Oh,
very,
look at this.
very, very optimistic.
Bro,
Very
I know.
optimistic.
I actually feel bad saying it out loud because the truth is, watch as this is the only game they're going to show up. The last 15 games they played terribly, and of course against Arsenal they're going to end up showing as prime Munich.
I don't think they will show up. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
don't
they'll
think so too.
score, but
I
I
actually
think
think they will show up. I don't think
Oh,
they
you
will
mm,
do?
win. I don't think they will win, but they will show up.
Oh yeah. I
interesting.
Bro,
personally
this
think
is this is not some Sunday league team showing up to Johnston Paint Trophy. It's a Champions League quarterfinals, okay? And to Bayern Munich, you have to show up.
yeah, I agree.
One thing that I found watching football, like you can have all the predictions, have all the feelings that you want, but once the game kicks on, you go like, oh my god, this is not what I expected it to be, and
Yeah,
that's probably going to be the feeling. But I also think that Real Madrid City is going to be in a draw. Like that's how it's
yeah,
going to end.
agreed. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing with the Munich is like everyone's like, oh, they're so weak, they're so weak. I'm like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything. It's like they could easily destroy us. Like you never know with that stupid team. But yeah,
yep,
I think that's a good place to wrap. Goodbye from us.
yeah. See you next time.